I've been there scrolling through endless laptop listings, eye-catching specs, glossy photos, and the promise that this machine will finally let me edit 4K video on the go, or run my engineering simulations without lag. Then the reality hits. The model you unbox either overheats on the first big render, the screen looks washed out under daylight, or the battery dies before lunch. It's that gut-wrenching feeling of spending a premium price and ending up with a device that looks great on paper, but falls flat in daily work. That's why I'm breaking down the MSI W66 10TLT 079 mobile workstation, so you can decide if it truly belongs in your bag, or if it's just another pricey disappointment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's put the WS66 in context. It's marketed as a mobile workstation, which means it's trying to blend the raw compute power you'd expect from a desktop-grade workstation with the portability of a 15-inch laptop. In the current market, you have three main options for that sweet spot: a high-end gaming laptop, a thin and light creator-focused notebook, and a genuine mobile workstation like this MSI. Each camp makes different trade-offs. Gaming laptops usually lean on a high refresh display and louder fans. Creator notebooks favor color-accurate screens and battery life, while workstations prioritize certified GPUs and eSecret memory. Knowing which compromise matters to you is the first step. Who should consider the WS66? If you're a professional CAD designer, a 3D animator, or an engineer who runs GPU-accelerated simulations regularly, the Quadro RTX 4000 is the headline reason to look. That card isn't just a fast GPU, it carries the ISV certifications that make software like SolidWorks, Autodesk Maya, and ANSYS run in certified mode, unlocking features like hardware-accelerated ray tracing and stable driver support. Pair that with a 10th Gen Intel Core i7-10875H to 8-core, 16-thread beast that can turbo up to 5.1 GHz, and you have enough horsepower to slice through a 10-minute 4K render in roughly the same time a mid-range desktop would. The 32 GB of DDR4 RAM, split across two SODIMM slots, also means you can comfortably keep large scene files and multiple applications open without hitting the memory ceiling. And you still have the option to double that to 64 GB later if your workflow grows. On the flip side, who should skip this machine? If you're a gamer who lives for high frame rates and 144 Hz refreshes, the WS66 60Hz FHD panel will feel like a step back. The touch-enabled display is handy for quick UI navigation, but it doesn't offer the color gamut or brightness you'd find on a dedicated creator notebook. Moreover, the laptop's weight just under 5 pounds means it's portable, but not lightweight enough to slip into a backpack for a coffee shop day. Finally, if you're primarily looking for battery endurance, the 99WH cell will give you maybe 5 hours of moderate use, which is acceptable for a workstation, but far from the all-day life you'd get from an Ultrabook. Now let's dive into the practical strengths that matter after the box is opened. The first thing I noticed is the tactile feel of the keyboard. MSI kept the white backlight, which looks sleek, but more importantly the key travel is solid enough to type for hours without fatigue. A real win for anyone drafting long documents or writing code. The fingerprint sensor on the glass touchpad works reliably, unlocking the system in under a second, which is a small convenience that adds up in a busy day. The Wi-Fi 6AX201 module delivers fast, stable connections even in crowded office environments, so you won't be wrestling with lag when pulling large files from a NAS. The performance side lives up to the headline specs. In a quick test loading a 2 GB 3D model in Autodesk Revit, the workstation opened the file in about 12 seconds, whereas a comparable gaming laptop I own took roughly 25 seconds. Rendering a 30-second animation using Blender's Eevee engine on the Quadro RTX 4000 completed 20% faster than on an RTX 3060 laptop of similar price. Those numbers translate directly into saved time for professionals who bill by the hour. Another practical point: the SSD is a full 1 TB NVMe, which means you can store several large project files locally without constantly relying on external drives. The drive is also user replaceable, so if you ever need more space, you can swap it without sending the whole machine to a service center. Of course, no machine is perfect, and the WS66 has a few hidden trade-offs. The cooling system, while adequate under sustained load, does get noisy after about 15 minutes of continuous rendering. The fan ramps up to a whirring 45 dB, which is noticeable in a quiet office or a shared workspace. It's not a deal-breaker for most, but if you need a silent environment, you'll want to plan for occasional breaks. The display, as mentioned earlier, is a 19201080 panel with 72% NTSC coverage. That's fine for general productivity, but if color accuracy is mission-critical, say you're grading video footage, the out-of-the-box calibration may require a hardware calibrator to hit industry standards. The touch layer also adds a fraction of millimeters to the screen.